Dear viewers, welcome to yet another edition of Your Life, Your Money. These days, there is a lot of mails you keep getting on retirement products, asking you to buy a particular product, asking you to buy another product, all kinds of a marketing gimmick which keeps happening, which I've observed. And a lot of people send me message asking, should we buy this particular product for the sake of retirement purpose? I personally believe you should not be buying any single product. Rather, you must buy a retirement solution. It may appear similar, but it is not same, and there is a continent of difference between buying a product and buying a solution. In this episode, I'm going to detail you on this particular topic, why it makes sense for you to buy a retirement solution than to latch on to any single retirement product. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant, but your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Retirement planning is not very simple. It is very, very tricky. Many people equate retirement planning to only accumulating money. Money is one part of your retirement planning. There are a lot of things which will happen, which is more than money. Many times you accumulate so much of a money and the money itself can become a problem during your retirement period of time. It's also essential to note here that the variables that we are working on during your retirement planning are multitude. There are many. How long you are going to live? This is not known. How long your wife is going to live? This is not known. Where are you going to retire? Will you stay in the same house? Or will you move to another house? That's also is not known. Will you stay in the country where you are right now or move to another country? That also is not known. What could be the situation of your children? This is also not known. What could be the interest rate? What could be the inflation? What could be your taxation? Which government could be in power? Will you have the comfort of your friends living around you? None of these answers can be answered at this point of time. Likewise, when somebody is planning for retirement, at what stage of life are you? Are you an youngster who is trying to build your retirement planning? Are you somebody who is in the middle of the age who is trying to do the retirement planning, or you are about to retire, or you have already retired? All these variables will come and create a conflicting situation when a retirement planning is attempted by either an individual or by an advisor. Let me explain to you one by one the variables which will go into making a decision at the time of you trying to do a retirement plan. The first thing is people think if I have enough money, that's more than sufficient for me to have a good retirement. Think about a case of an NRI. Most NRIs will come back to India post their work life and they would have accumulated an enormous amount of fixed deposits. All these years, they would have enjoyed the tax-free status of NREFTs. When they come back to India, suddenly they realize that the FD interest is becoming taxable. It's just not the question of FD interest is going to become taxable, but they come under accrual tax in India. What is an accrual tax? Accrual tax is, let's say that you have got 3 crores or 2 crores or 5 crores, whatever could be that number in your case, is the FDs that you have. And let's assume that you are getting 6% as the interest rate. Now, whether you draw this money out of your FDs or not, while paying taxes at the end of the year, you should compute that this is the income of the year and you have to pay taxes from that particular interest that you have accumulated in your fixed deposit. So even though if your FDs are swelling because of the interest, a cash flow is required just to pay for the taxes. So unless you take into account these particular factors, then your planning can go for a toss. Likewise, those of you who are retiring now in the last 5 years or going to retire in the next 5 years would have realized how the FD rates swing over a period of time. We had a FD rate in India which is around 14% between 1985 to 1995. Gradually, the FD rates fell. They fell to as low as 5.5% somewhere in the year 2007. And then they moved up in cycle, moved up to 9.5%. And again, they fell down to a level of 4.5%. And we are passing through an upcycle of interest rate. So they move up and down. Now think about a situation. Today we are at the peak of interest rates, and the interest rates are hovering around 6.5 to 7%. And from here onward, the interest rates are expected to cool down. Now imagine a situation you are getting 7% interest rate. 2 to 3 years from now, the interest rate, if they fall by 2%, that means what you get 7% will be brought down to 5%, and you are a resident Indian now. Your income has come down because of the fall in interest rate, but the FDs are taxable. Another one third of your money will go out as taxes. So all your efforts of building these FDs is not working in your favor if you depend only on FDs. There are people who build a lot of funds only in the mutual fund, and there is enough literature, enough campaigning, enough YouTube videos which are produced to say SWP as a tool during your retirement days. I will not dispute the fact that the mutual funds will generate a good amount of wealth, and it must be attempted, and people must invest money in the mutual funds if they have an intention to generate wealth. But I'm not very much convinced that mutual fund can be a great tool to get SWP throughout your retired life. The mutual funds, in the long run, will invariably generate good amount of wealth. But this generation of wealth is not a linear function. It will not behave like a fixed deposit. Markets will go through a spike up phase. Markets will stagnate, markets will fall, market may not recover for many long years. All possibilities exist. Now, if you make an assumption that the mutual funds will give you 12% return and I will draw 10% from the mutual fund and my capital continues, you can be up for a rude shock. Markets may remain sideways for a long period of time. When markets correct from a bull market peaks, it takes many years for them to recover. You saw in the year now 2021, markets corrected from 62 towards 52, and it took 2 years before the previous highs were captured. Likewise, in the year 2008, markets made a peak in January 2008. They bottomed out around October of 2008, and from there onwards, it literally took 5 years for the markets to capture the previous high of 21,000 reached in January 2008. So, what will happen if you depend on SWP during this particular period? I have even seen a period where the markets have not done anything for 10 long years between 1994 to 2003, 2004. So depending exclusively on an SWP can be a very, very risky affair because the future is always uncertain. How will the markets behave? What incidents will happen in the economy? These things cannot be predicted. Likewise, the history shows that women live longer than men. Now, if you take the generation which is of my age group, 60 or the last 10 to 20 years younger than us, most of these people are of the old generation type, where the wives were much younger than the husbands. Normally, people see a difference of 4 to 6 years between husband and wife, where the wife is younger than the husband. In the recent times, this equation is getting altered. There are a lot of people who are of similar age or even the wife being older of the male. That's a recent phenomenon of last 10, 15 years. But the older generation usually had wives much younger than themselves. History says women live longer, and this further get accentuated because of this age gap between men and women. Now, when the breadwinner or the man is around, he manages most of the finances. This you can safely say over 95% of the families, men take care of the finance and women take care of the rest of the family responsibility. Now, think of a situation if the man were to disappear from the scene, he exits this world and he leaves money for a wife to handle. And it can create a disaster. It can create a disaster because of people from outside the family. It can also create a disaster because of people inside the family, like children or the uncles, the aunts, or anyone else. Women cannot handle money. That's the normal thing that we have observed. It doesn't mean it's not a derogatory comment I'm making here. Generally, they don't take much interest in the family finances. So, in your planning, if you don't take into account this particular factor, then what might go wrong is you may leave behind a lot of money, and because of inability of your wife or her inability to counteract the rest of the members of the family, she can run the risk of losing this particular money. So, there is a necessity to see that when you leave this world, probably a solution should be made sure that she continues to get the same stream of income what you had designed for retirement purpose. If you are depending only on mutual funds, she may not know how to handle this situation, which might pan out in the marketplace. All these problems might come in. So during your retirement, the variables are many. And one of the problems of recent times is the problem of late marriages. The late marriages will have a problem on retirement planning as well. Because of late marriage, children arrive in the families very late, and these families generally will have unfinished responsibilities towards the children when the parents retire. That means post retirement, an allocation of funds will be required even for taking care of children's education. It could be because of marriage, or there could be dependent children with you at the time of your retirement. There are people who make the mistake of buying a house pretty early in life, and they are left with the old house by the time they retire. Or they would have purchased a house in a place where they are not intending to retire. So this will have again consequences of either repairing the house or swapping with a new one, moving to another city. So all these things have not been factored in at the time of you do a retirement planning. So what do people do to do the retirement planning? They complicate the retirement planning because of inexperience. Nobody can be experienced to do the retirement planning because you pass through the stages of life. Experience comes only when you retire. So no one has an experience in doing the retirement planning. So you have to depend on external agency to do the retirement planning. Likewise, ignorance. We do not know what the problems will be during your retirement days. How will you know what problems will come in your future? So unless there are similar case studies, unless somebody has worked with people of different age groups, has been doing the retirement planning for a long period of time, for an individual, if you are to be a do-it-yourself investor, you will not neither have the experience nor will have the required level of knowledge to handle this with a mature way. So what will people end up with? People will end up in one of the two camps. A camp which is guided by greed, which says I'll use stocks, I'll use ETFs, I'll use mutual funds, and I'm only governed by the returns I get. There is another category which will fall into the camp of a fear-filled category. They will say, I'm retired, I can't take any risk, so I'll go with only guaranteed return plans, like a guaranteed return plan from my insurance company. It could be a fixed deposit, it could be an annuity plan. Anything which gives them a predictable cash flow, they latch onto that. It's rarely you see people who have both the things in their portfolio. In reality, what is required is a multiple products which has to go into a particular solution. Now, a guaranteed plan, whether it's a fixed deposit or whether it's a guaranteed return plan, it will give you a defined benefit. It will ensure that a stream of income is made available during your retirement days. See, people take salaries, they derive comfort from the salary hitting their account when they are working. When they retire, what happens? The salary is taken out. Now, nothing gets credited into their account. Even the best of best individuals will feel unnerved because the cash doesn't hit their bank account month after month. To conquer this emotional turmoil that will hit any person during the retirement days, a fixed income solution in the form of a FD or an annuity or a guaranteed return insurance plan has to be put into place. Likewise, when they buy into this, as I said, the consideration for their wife also has to be made. If they were to be fade away from the scene, there should be a continuity of stream of income which should come for their wife, and she doesn't have to depend on anyone else to design a solution at that point of time. This solution gives comfort to you. But imagine a situation that you leave 15, 20, 30 years post your retirement days. So while the fixed income can give you the comfort of money hitting your account month after month, it also has built-in risk into it. Most of the fixed income solutions which has been designed, there could be plans from different insurance companies or from an annuity plan or from a fixed deposit. These are taxable, which means there will be a tax outgo on the incomes you derive from this. Likewise, because it's a fixed income over a period of time, it loses its purchase value because inflation will be keep rising year after year. So it gives you the comfort of a fixed income, but it takes away the purchase. It will take away the purchasing power of this money over longer periods of time. If you live for a very short period of time, let's say 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, post your retirement, probably a fixed income solution may work in your favor. But there is no guarantee that you will exit this world within 10 to 15 years after your retirement. Going by the statistics, going by the current trends, it's obvious and it's probably safe to say people living up to 80, 85, 90 years is going to happen by design than by a matter of luck. So fixed income solution alone in your retirement planning can like inviting trouble in the later years. Likewise, if you depend on wealth building funds like mutual funds, then the problem of volatility in the earnings is something which you have to factor in. But the requirement of mutual funds will also become obvious in your retirement planning because that's the only instrument which will make sure that the monies that you have will beat inflation and the purchasing power of your total corpus remains intact. So it is very safe to say any single product, if you buy thinking that that product will solve your all the problems of retirement, it is not going to be a safe solution. What is required is a combo solution. We do not have one single product which can cater to all aspects of stability, reduction of taxation, liquidity maintenance, inflation beating properties, and all these things cannot be clubbed into one single product. So absolutely, it is very certain to say a solution has to be designed when you plan for retirement planning. Plus, as I said, the complication is that you will not have the required experience. You will never have the experience. You will also be ignorant because you will not know how the future is going to pan out. So it is very safe to say retirement planning is one place where you have to consult your advisors who have got the required amount of experience, who have done studies around that, people who have worked with multiple people, people who have worked with the multiple age group of people, and people who have seen life from close quarters. They are the ones who are required to advise you to decide how your retirement planning has to be designed, whether you are an youngster, whether you are somebody who is in the middle of the life cycle or who is about to retire, or people who have already retired. There is a case here that they need to be checking with their advisors what they have done is right or apply the required correctives. So dear viewers, if you have an advisor who can advise you on retirement planning, please make best use of these advisors. Take their advice and sit through a fact-finding session. Explain your situation to them. Let them spend enough time to assess your life and design a solution for you. Take the thought out of your mind that one single product can solve all the problems of retirement. What is really required is a retirement solution. If you're a person who's looking out for professional advisors to design retirement solutions for you, you can make best use of services provided by NRI Money Clinic as well. We have a team of experts who specialize in different aspects like fixed income, market-related instruments, guaranteed return plans, annuity plans, and all these things. So if you have an intention and if you are looking out for the advisor, you can contact us through a WhatsApp message. Our number is shown here in the description box. We have also provided a link there. Just click on the link and it will take you to the WhatsApp. Send us a message for the services that you are looking for, and one of our experts will be ever ready to help you. Why delay? Send that message now. Hope the video that I have done today helped you to understand why it becomes very complex when you design retirement solution. If it did help you to look into the problem areas of retirement planning and why you have to design a solution, then please give me a thumbs up. If you are a person who is watching my channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for the channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Do not forget to share these videos with your near and dear one, friends and relatives, and on all the WhatsApp groups on which you are connected with. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another topic and yet another video very, very soon. In 2 days from now, we will be entering the new year 2024, and NRI Money Clinic takes this opportunity to wish you all a very, very happy 2024.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.